from Zion Law School. Okay, let's get started. So we're back with Libra in the Gospels. All right. We're going to pick up on page 145. Oh, I'm in a new place, y'all. The chair is a little bit uncomfortable. But anyway, let's get started. We're on page 145. The rules are, my expectations are, I present this information, you get it for free. In exchange for that, you must, if you stay longer than 5 minutes, like and share the video. If you've been here more than 2 times, or 2 times or more rather. In other words, if this is not your first time here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video on your Facebook, Instagram, or whatever other social media that you have. Okay, share it in messages, in your WhatsApp, whatever messenger you're using, share it that way. Help me with the distribution of the video. As you know, if you've already been here, YouTube shadow bans this channel very severely. All right. So the only way this message can get out is if people like you share it. And unfortunately, most of y'all don't. Y'all won't even like the video. But you come in here and you learn for free. So I put my expectations up front. If you don't want to do that, I ask you to leave. Okay? Don't stay. Don't freeload. All right? And you pressing a like button, having been here more than 5 minutes, obviously you like it, otherwise you would go, right? If you've been here more than 1 time, then subscribe. All right? I shouldn't have to say that. It sounds crude, but y'all know what it is. Most of our people have been conditioned, and you got to do these kind of things because of their lower self behavior. Not through that they are bad, it's just the conditioning, the way they've been raised. All right? And your religious beliefs, everything about is all messed up. But that's another story. If you don't believe me, go overseas and see how other people behave. Okay, then you'll see how sick the culture is there. Anyway, let's continue. We're on page 145. This paragraph here. All right, anyway, let's get started. Among the Greeks, notably Hippocrates, Libra was zugos, the yoke, the very word used by Matthew in a passage immediately following JC's declaration that capital God has revealed the secrets of the kingdom to infants. Well, in Christianity, you're taught that the infants are little children. Well, those little children are adults who behave like children. That's my opinion, right? Because that's what Christianity requires you to be. Turn off your analytical thinking, experiential mind. And become a child again. All right? So let's continue. The secret, okay, so that's from Matthew 11:25 through 30. Mark uses a word from the same root. Okay, so we did this paragraph in the last presentation. When he writes, what capital God has put together or has joined, that is yoked together, let no man separate. Mark 10:9. All right? Okay. Let's continue. Among the Jews, the tribe of Issachar, described in Jacob's blessing at Genesis 49:14 as, quote, a strong ass crouching down between two burdens, is generally associated with Libra. All right, so there's Libra. The glyph, here's a glyph for Libra, but you can see it better here. Let me show you. Here's a Libra glyph. It's just a sign or symbol, right? Sign, symbol, logo, whatever you want to call it. There it is. Libra. Okay. So Issachar is Libra, based on Genesis 49:14, according to academia. All right. So let's continue. The Libra glyph represents both the setting sun and the crossbeam of a pillar of scales. All right, so let me show y'all this. So at the top, at the top of the glyph here, take a look, the half circle. The half circle, that's the sun setting. All right? So the nighttime sky is going to be a reddish color, orange-red color, right? Like fire, if y'all recall. So that's the circle part. And below that, that's the cross beam. That's the cross beam, the horizontal beam of the balanced scales. Okay, y'all see that? All right, let's continue. All right. So the glyph, or Libra's glyph, represents both the setting sun. The setting sun would be according to, was it Josephus? Was it, no, according to, was it one of those Freemasons? According to him, the setting sun is the Holy Ghost, right? The setting sun is the Holy Ghost. So Libra here, if you follow his way of thinking, the setting sun in Libra is the Holy Ghost. All right. Watch the video. That you'll find that information maybe 1, 2, 3 videos back. Go back and watch it. You'll get that. Okay. All right. Okay. So the glyph of Libra represents both the setting sun and the crossbeam of a pair of scales, reflecting Libra as the balance point or fulcrum of the year. So Libra is the balance point of the year, all right, or the fulcrum. Okay, so whenever you talk about balance, that means justice, right? That's justice. Imbalance is sin or injustice. Okay, let's continue. It is not too difficult to see how this notion of balance can be extended to encompass such things as justice, the law, and paying one's debts. The very categories which Millennius deals in his description of Libra. So let's take a look at this. Justice. Who is justice? Well, I am justice. I am a Genesis chapter 2 autochthonous Moor. I'm sprung from the soil. All Moors are, according to the law, land. Okay, so all Moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. We are sovereign. Why? We're the rightful heir. Rightful heir. Okay, it's well established in law. No question about it. Okay, land is the substance and subject matter of the law. Moors are land. So you are justice. I am justice. Genesis chapter 2, men and women. Genesis chapter 1, the created creature, Han Uman, or the human being, mankind. See, human being, we used to think it's man with hue. No, it is colorable man, colored man. That means it's a knockoff. It looks like a man, but the substance of a man is not there. is the substance of a man not being present in something that looks like a man or a woman. So here, hence we have colorable, or human, or mankind, or the hybrid troglodyte Paleolithic nigger who classifies itself as white. All right? The law. The law is whatever the sovereign says the law is. Okay? The law is whatever the sovereign says the law is, and it ends when it begins to encroach upon another sovereign's or another Genesis chapter 2 Moor's rights. That's the boundaries of rights. Rights are a birthright, short for birthright. Okay? These birthrights are protected and secured by the Constitution for the United States of North America. They are not given by it, but they are protected and secured by it. In other words, you have a civilized way of dealing with disputes. Okay? Now let's continue. And paying one's debts. Now, debtors, that's the status of a human being. Now, I know y'all going to say, what about human rights? Well, human rights were given by us, man. Genesis chapter 2 Moors. We gave human rights to the hybrid troglodyte nigger, the human, Han Uman, the half chimpanzee, half man created creature in Genesis chapter 1. So they are the debtors, all hybrids, regardless of skin color, and there are hybrids who have dark skin, or what y'all like to say, melanated skin. There are hybrids with melanated skin. Okay? These are debtors. Genesis chapter 2 Moors are creditors, sovereigns. The very category with which Millennius deals in his description of Libra. So let me, before I do that, so get yourself in the right frame of mind with these concepts, okay? And who's who, all right? Status does matter. You do not deal with the subject the same way you deal with the sovereign. Okay, everybody's and I'm not saying being mean or nasty or condescending, but status matters. Okay? Libra, who scales when autumn turns the signs, and ruddy Bacchus treads the juicy vines. Okay, y'all should know who Bacchus is. That's the disgusting deity, right? He loves to party, wine, getting drunk, all of the extremes. He loves it. In equal balance, poise the night and day, teach how to measure and instruct to weigh. Besides, he'll know the niceties of law, what guard the good, and what the guilty all. Okay? When vengeance wait on crimes, with skill declare his private chamber, still shall be the bar, B-A-R, the bar. Maybe that's referencing or having to do with the bar association, right? What he determines, that for right shall stand, and justice weighed her balance in his hand. Okay, so that's coming from page 126 of Manilius. All right, that's his description of Libra. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can see anything with why he talked about Bacchus other than Bacchus other than Bacchus is a lover of wine, and the harvest is in the fall. Nothing comes to mind right now, so I'll let it go. Okay, so his point is Libra teaches how to measure and instructs on how to weigh. Okay, that's his point. That's the whole point of this quotation, okay? Libra teaches you how to measure and weigh. In other words, how to apply law, okay? How to apply the law. It doesn't teach you what the law is, right? No, the law is whatever you say it is, if you're a Moor. It's regular tea with lemon. They have these green, I don't know if you can see that well, but in Asia, they have these little, they look like limes, but they're circles, but they're actually, they call them a lemon. Can y'all see that? But it's green. See how it's green? But it tastes like a lemon. A seed. Usually I eat the seed, but I don't want to now. Chew it, not swallow it, chew it. You know, if you eat seeds, you put yourself at risk of, if you don't chew them, you put yourself at risk for appendicitis. So the gospel and the zodiac, figure 18 on page 146, y'all. Justice carrying the Libra scales above Old Bailey in London. Okay, now note that the scales are balanced in this image. Take a look at this compared to the image in the US. Take a note, the scales are balanced, or they appear to be balanced. Okay? Take a note, this is the solstices, winter solstice, summer solstice. This is spring equinox, autumn equinox. Well, let me repeat that. I'm going to say this is the spring equinox. Why? Because a sword is in the hand. Okay, spring equinox is the covenant of work, covenant of labor. So this would be spring equinox, and over here, the hand with the balance in it would be the autumn equinox, right? Why? Because Libra is the focal point or the balance of the year. Y'all see that? So this is the covenant of grace. Y'all see it? This is the covenant of grace. Libra is the focal point or the balance point of the year. Libra is the harvest, right? That's where we get the harvest. 12 hours of, well, anyway, let's not go through that. And the covenant of grace here, this is where you need to do work and labor. All right? So you're going to need that sword for a variety of reasons, perhaps. Okay? So take a look at this, study it. Y'all come back and pause the video. It appears, okay. So here, take a look at the crown. Y'all see the crown? It has spikes. So the crown represents the sun, the rays of the sun. Y'all see that? The crown here, the spikes or the thorns, just like on the Statue of Liberty, right? Represents the rays of the sun. So this is the sun here. The sun, okay, and here are the clouds. Okay? All right. Very interesting. So now that you see this, this is astrological. Just imagine if you had not seen this presentation, you would not know that you're looking at astrology. Again, summer solstice, here's the sun with its thorns, the crown of thorns. Summer solstice, sun at its highest point in the northern part of space. Summer solstice, down here at the feet. Winter solstice. Spring equinox, covenant of labor. Autumn equinox, covenant of grace. Okay, Libra is the sign that represents the balance or focal point of the year. Y'all got that? Higher self, lower self. All right, that sword is for work. Okay, you might have to give somebody that work. Okay, you may have to give somebody that heavenly or that divine work, right? Give them some comfort. And it's just. It's justice, right? You're executing justice. Or what? Enforcing the Constitution. All right? Or enforcing the Constitution. All right, so let's continue. But legal matters are not the only areas over which Libra is said to have dominion. The image of the balance can be applied to any sphere of life in which we find the interaction of complementary forces, principal among which is the relationship between male and female in marriage. Libra, the sign of the sun, sun's fall, right? Autumn, falling. The sun is falling down, it's descending. That's autumn, right? Why is it falling down? Because in June 22nd, 23rd, it reached its highest northerly point. Okay? Then it goes downward. Okay, so it's going downward into Leo, as we discussed in previous videos. And of course, now we're in Libra. All right, the sun is falling in altitude. All right, let's continue. Okay, so they're equating this to complementary forces, principle among which is male and females in marriage. All right, Libra, the sign of the sun's fall, represents the subordination of one's ego to another and a perpetual struggle to maintain a fragile harmony. I totally disagree with that. Completely disagree with that. See, the issue between men and women didn't become an issue until the hybrids came to power. Okay? This equality of men and women, and that was never an issue before they came to power. So that is not what it means in nature. We come back and rethink that. Okay, but there was never a battle between men and women as there is since these hybrids came to power. Okay? But anyway, let's continue. Libra, the sign of the sun's fall, represents the subordination of one's ego to another and a perpetual struggle to maintain a fragile harmony. Now, were people egotistical in the main? The masses of people, were they egotistical? Who knows? I was not there before the hybrids came to power. But it's very unlikely that society, civilized people, can get along well together if there's a bunch of egomaniacs everywhere, right? So exactly Even just is this notion even true, right? Leah, the sign of the sun's fall, represents the subordination of the ego. Is that notion true? Maybe that's not the notion that we should be looking at. Maybe it's something else. Okay? Subordination of one's ego to another? I don't think so. Now, we Moors are the nobility on the planet. So might it have something to do with acknowledging the nobility of other Moors, right? In other words, acknowledging the boundaries of your sovereignty, right? My sovereignty in where it begins to encroach or damage you, or injure you, or harm you. Okay, so I see that you're being harmed, so I'm gonna stop, or I won't do it, so that I don't harm you, right? That's the essence of natural law, do no harm. So might that be it? I don't know. It needs to be thought about, okay? All right, so let's continue. And is harmony fragile anyway? Probably not. Probably not. If we go back to before the hybrids came to power, you read the reports about what life was like, the attitudes, behaviors of the people in the Americas before the Europeans got there. When you read those stories that the Europeans wrote, or the hybrids wrote about us, we were very peaceful, kind, gentle people. Okay, so that there was harmony. So we need to rethink this. As Aries represents the consciousness of self, Libra symbolizes quote, the other, end quote. The one with whom our ego has to make the biggest compromise. The one with whom we have to learn the hard lessons of mutual concern and love. Well, okay, so if that's the case, to me, that's having more to do with the inner self. That's the battle between higher self and lower self. The decisions that you're going to make. Who am I going to be? Or who am I rather right now? The decision that I make, the behavior that I present, is that going to be higher self or lower self? Now, that's an inner struggle. That's a legitimate inner struggle, right? You have 24 hours in a day. You're going to spend 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours working. Okay, so that's 16. You got 8 more. So what are you going to do? You can spend everything you have. You can quote unquote sin, meaning do people wrong. Whatever you think is wrong, right? You can do all those things, or you can sleep more. The decisions you make are totally up to you. So if you have a accumulation of behavior that violates natural law, well then, but maybe you feel guilty about it because at some level you're aware, or maybe even you're very aware that what you're doing is wrong, right? When I say wrong, I'm talking about it is in opposition to natural law. But the same concept applies if it violates your religious belief or your ethical beliefs. Why? Because your conscience is involved. See, these things are real to you because you believe it, okay? And you think you're doing wrong, so there's an inner turmoil. So in that sense, I can see an inner battle, like Paul discussed. All right? The good that I wish to do, I do not do, but it is the bad that I do, and it's the sin who's responsible for it. Remember we went through that? But no, it's not the sin who's responsible for it. It's you, the decision maker, who's responsible for it. So you get consciousness from an external source outside of your physical brain. That's where your consciousness is coming from. Okay, we're all getting those downloads, that presence of awareness and consciousness. But it is you who make the decision as to what you're going to do from one moment to the next. And that accumulates into what? Habitual behavior. It accumulates into a reputation. Okay, so you can have an accumulation of really negative, dirty, deceitful, nasty type of behavior. Or you can have an accumulation of Christ-like, if you will, behavior. And I'm not talking about the religious Christ figure. I'm talking about the higher self, right? Not the religious stuff. Not all of that. I'm not talking about an ethical system. I'm talking about natural law. We went over that, I think, 1 or 2 videos, maybe 2 videos ago. But I've gone over this quite a bit, quite often. So go back and watch that. All right? So in that case, at least as of now, I would say Libra represents, just going off of what this offer is saying, the notion that there is a constant battle to maintain harmony between higher self and lower self. Which one are you going to be? That's ego-based, okay? Also the notion that Libra representing the falling sun has to do with the interaction of complementary forces, right? Good and evil are complementary forces. The author is saying principle of which is a relationship between men and women in a marriage. Well, I'm saying no, it's the relationship between the higher self and the lower self, and you making a decision every day about who you're going to be. All right, that's a internal struggle often until you get to wherever you want to be, right? And you develop the congruency of your mental state, decision making, and behavior, so that you're always either in the higher self or lower self. You're not fluctuating between. Anyway, let's move on past that. I'm tired of talking about that. All right, so let's continue. As Aries represents the consciousness of self, Aries represents the consciousness of self. Libra symbolizes, quote unquote, the other, the one with whom our ego has to make the biggest compromise. So your ego has to make the biggest compromise with yourself, right? You got to make the biggest compromise with yourself. You need to compromise with you, the good and the bad, as to what you're going to do. Not just now, but all the time. In every decision, you need to compromise, right? Maybe you really want to do something, but you know it's not good for you, or you know it's not good for somebody else. So you need to compromise with yourself, okay? Or as they say in Christianity, be self-sacrificing or long-suffering and all of that business. Okay, so let's continue. The one with whom we have to learn the hard lessons of mutual concern and love. Okay, so mutual concern. One of the most difficult things for people to learn under the hybrid system is to love themselves, because they're taught, indoctrinated to hate themselves. Okay? That's really the only way that the hybrid system can work, is if you don't love yourself. Okay? You don't love yourself. That's the only way it can work, but y'all can figure that out on your own. Now, this mutual concern, if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. You cannot give what you don't have. Okay, so you need to walk into a relationship with a woman already loving yourself. And the mutual concern is not even an issue. Okay? That's only an issue if you don't love yourself. I hope everyone sees that. Mayo considers that Libra symbolizes, quote, the primitive urge for unity and relatedness with others, and the need to conform to an ideal pattern of community life, end quote. That's Mayo, 1964, published in 1964 on page 49. The spiritual lessons of Libra, the spiritual lesson of the Libra phase involves our willingness to move from isolation into participation. Okay, so again here, y'all, it says here the spiritual lesson of Libra, or the Libra phase of the zodiac, involves our willingness. Nobody has to force you, right? You do it willingness to move from isolation into participation. A movement symbolized by marriage, but not restricted to it. Well, I'm not sure if I agree with that also, because our ancient ancestors would not confine themselves to just one woman. Okay, we did not confine ourselves to one woman. Men had many women, or quote unquote consorts. Okay, y'all call them wives. We had many for a lot of good reasons, and it wasn't for sex. Okay, so don't get it twisted. It was not for sex. It was not for sex. Anyway, let's continue. So we need to figure out if this notion is also valid. The spiritual lesson of Libra involves our willingness to move from isolation into participation. In other words, your willingness to not be single and take a woman as a consort, or take women as your consort. Okay? To me, this is very manipulative, and I'll tell you why it appears to be very manipulative here to me. Because this notion of one man, one wife is what the Romans do, right? Do y'all see that? It's against their statutory rules to have more than one wife. Okay, you go to jail for that. So this is promoting that concept. I hope everybody can see that. At some point, everyone should research the benefits of a man having more than one consort, more than one wife. Y'all research that. Look at the benefits, not just for the family, but for the community. Okay? Now, if you take that away, if you take that mechanism away, they're going to be desperate women, as we see right now, and all of the problems that go along when you have desperate or impoverished women and children. Okay? Or women and children who are in a very difficult situation, whose lives could be made a lot easier, a whole lot easier, if they had, if they were in a relationship with a man who had maybe one or two or even three or four, whatever his money is, right? Whatever his ability is to take care of him, it would be a better situation for her. Forget about the sex and all the jealousy and envy that comes from Rome. The jealousy and envy comes from Rome. If you feel jealous and envy, it's because you've been indoctrinated. It could be you're a hybrid. It might be that you're a hybrid, because these are the feelings that hybrids have. They're not like Genesis chapter 2. Okay? I can't speak for you. You know what you feel in your heart, and you know who you are. All right? So let's continue. Such primary unions are microcosms of the greater unity and harmony of the ideal society. Now I can understand and agree with that, in which the Libra principle of justice operates to guarantee unity, fairness, and balance in all areas of communal life. So, as I've mentioned before, I've always wondered, why did our ancestors give the hybrid sovereignty? Why do we give them sovereignty? Maybe that was a big mistake that we made by giving them sovereignty. Or did we give the hybrid sovereignty? Were these Genesis chapter 2 Moors that we gave sovereignty, and then the hybrids came in and said it applies to them too? Because we don't know who's hybrid and who's not hybrid, right? But at that time we knew. Status was known. Y'all see what I'm saying? So maybe we didn't give these hybrids sovereignty. Maybe we did not. Because why would you? To me, it seems like a violation of natural law, because they're half animal. Well, let me repeat that. They're hybrids. They're not Genesis chapter 2 men and women. Therefore, they're not heirs. They're not rightful heirs. Therefore, they cannot be sovereign. And in law, a human is a monster, and it cannot inherit land. Y'all see what I'm saying? So did we give the Moors who were escaping, when I say Moors, Genesis chapter 2 Moors, did we give them sovereignty? And was it that they also brought their slaves, hybrids, right? And then the hybrids leapfrog, flipped the script, and they claimed state sovereignty. Y'all see what I'm saying? And then that's the other one. Is the state. Well, anyway, that's another story. Y'all go back and watch the other videos I've done. But those reserved rights, are they for the people only? And then the state wrote themselves into it so that it's reserved for the state and the people, right? And putting the state first and the people second, reserved for the state and the people? Or was it really reserved, those rights that are not specifically stated in the Constitution are reserved for the people? Why is it that it's not for the people and the state, but it's there recorded for the state and the people? See, if I'm writing something like that, I think any intelligent person, you're going to put the rightful heir there first. If it's for the state and the people, it would be for the people. Why? Because they're the beneficiary. And the state. The state is created. It's not a living thing. It's a fiction. It's not living. So why put the dead before the living? Why put the dead before the living? No, you would put the living. That's just my opinion. But be that as it may, so there's a lot of things we need to rethink, reimagine, right? We have a lot to think about, okay? We have a lot of work to do with correcting the zodiac, okay? First of all, it should be common sense because it's based upon Greek mythology, that they're drawing power. They're drawing power into the Greek mythology and the religions and the deities, right? By connecting them with the zodiac. Okay? So what is that power? Probably nothing more than the power to make you believe Okay, the power to keep those stories alive, to give them the force of life. Okay, so we need to change this literature. Change this literature. Okay? If y'all want to support me in doing that, make sure you let me know. But this literature must be changed. And I'm sure actually there are people who are more expert on this than I am. I've never heard someone go through the zodiac analytically the way I've been doing it, presenting information the way I've been doing it. Most people or at least all the people that I've ever seen doing this, they never give a critical analysis of it. They tell you what it is, or maybe try to explain it to you. But I'm showing you the problems with it, a critical analysis of it. And I hope that everyone listening can appreciate it. And if you appreciate it, put something in the comments section, okay? Also, if you appreciate what I'm doing, support my project to rewrite the Book of the Law into Ancient Ibaryath and then back into English, so we can remove all of the deceit and all of the lies, and we can put back in all of the natural law concepts and mechanisms of oppression. It's all based in law. And if it's based in law, it's astrological. All right, so all of these documents work together. Okay, but we definitely also need to correct the zodiac. All right, we need to, maybe somebody else can pick the project up. I don't have to do it, right? But if you want me to do it, support the work for me to do it. Anyway, let's continue, y'all. Where are we? So I'm not going to read, well, let me read it again and then we move forward. Such primary unions are microcosms of the greater unity and harmony of the ideal society. Linda Gately, hi. Islam and Shalawama, Linda Gately. Good to see you here. I hope that you're getting a lot out of this presentation. And I have so many more presentations that are available to you. All of it's free. All of this is free. So I hope that you can find the time to learn it, and not just learn it, but more importantly, probably more importantly, once you learn it, use it. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so building the ideal society in which the Libra principle of justice operates to guarantee equity, fairness, and balance in all areas of communal life. So y'all go back and read the preamble for the Constitution, and you'll see that these are the same reasons why the Constitution for the United States of North America was written. Same principles. But anyway, let's continue. We're on page 46. Let me read this. Okay. Yes. How much is the book? Linda continues. Is it for sale? No, Linda. The Book of the Law I'm writing. I want to get support before I do this full time. It's a big job. The Book of the Law is a big job. So the Bible translating committees, or the Bible versions that like NIV, KJV, these are very well-funded religious organizations. They have money and skill behind them. Okay, so I'm doing this by myself. I don't want to take on the big project and not be able to complete it. That's the first thing. Or to have to struggle, eating soy sauce and rice to get it done. I'm too far along in my life to do that anymore. Okay, so we need to get the fiat together for Linda Gately says 50 US notes. Okay, thank you so much, Linda Gately. My Cash App and PayPal are in the description area of the video. Much appreciated. So that'll go towards the production. My Cash App is $DrYasapa. It's click on the description area of the video, you'll see it. I'll put it in the comment section once the video is done. My PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. But this is, doing these translations is a lot of work, y'all. It's not easy. So NIV, KJV, all of these Bible translating teams, it's a team. And they have, Linda Rice, I don't have much. No, the 50 is fine. I appreciate that. They have teams of professionals doing this, and they all get paid. They're all doing it, and they're getting paid to do it, okay? Of course, our people, we don't have that infrastructure right now. Yes, I see. Thank you so much, Linda Gately Rice. Yes, I see your value. I appreciate that so much. But we have to make it do what it do, start where we are, and change the minds, change the thinking of the people, one by one as we go. Okay, so thank you so much. Linda Gately Rice, thank you. It's my pleasure. Okay, now let's continue, scholars. The quote, ruler, end quote, of Libra is Venus. So Libra is ruled by Venus, called by astrologers, quote, the lesser benefic, end quote. Jupiter is the greater benefic, since it symbolizes good fortune. So Venus symbolizes good fortune, health, material prosperity, and physical beauty. So let me repeat that. Libra is ruled by Venus, the lesser benefic, B-E-N-F-I-C. The lesser benefic is Venus. Okay, Venus symbolizes good fortune. Okay, good fortune concretely is wealth, gold, silver, land, etc. Health, material prosperity, and physical beauty. So this corresponds to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14. These are the blessings. Okay, so in Greek mythology, the greater benefic, B-E-N-E-F-I-C, benefic, is Jupiter. Okay? In Greek mythology, Venus is Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who rules young manhood and young womanhood. The stage of Shakespeare's, quote, lover sighing like a furnace. Okay, so there's a footnote. I'll get to the footnote in just a second. So Libra is ruled by love. Okay, Libra in essence is ruled by love. Let's go to the footnote on page 147. According to Allen, on page 147, Venus was associated with Libra because the goddess bound together human couples under the yoke of matrimony. Now, y'all know the yoke of matrimony when you deal in Rome, okay, that yoke of matrimony is a license. And then that license puts the state in your relationship. Now you have a trinity in the relationship, and the state now owns whatever seed you have, and your seed becomes their chattel, their cattle, their property, their subject, their slave. Y'all see that? Everyone see that? The state also, through that license, denationalizes you, and you become their chattel and their slave, and it opens the door for them to use administrative processes to come in and genocide you out, take your children, terminate you and your children, even inside your own house, and all of the other wicked, cruel behavior, murders, and abuse that you see happening in the U.S. right now. Okay? That's why it's so important, so important to return to the Most High. Return to natural law. Get out of the Dogon, Raphaim, Oannes system. which these days they call Christianity. Leave these external deities alone. Okay? First of all, it's in violation of natural law. You can read it in Exodus chapter 20. Okay? No external deities. All of your solutions are within. Go back and watch the other presentations that we've done on this topic. The planet, that's Venus, came to be called Venus Sidus, S-I-D-U-S. Some astrologers consider Mars to be the ruler of Libra. Okay, so there's some disagreement. Some say Mars is the ruler of Libra. Prompting the delightful line by some anonymous 14th century writer, quote, whoso is born in yet. Okay, so this looks like French. So I'm just going to show it. However, this has never, let me repeat, however, this has never been a common attribution. I can't make that out. I'm going to show it on the screen. Y'all can pause it and read it. My print is too not good. Okay, so pause it when you go back and study this. I'm not able to make it out. But anyway, let's continue. Let me check the time. All right, we got time. So let's go back to the first paragraph. At this stage, Ptolemy, says Ptolemy, there is an activity of seminal passages and an impulse toward the embrace of love, page 445. However, the spirituality and materialism which characterizes the planet's association, that's Venus, with Taurus, while undoubtedly present in Libra, seem to manifest in a less gross form. In its Libra aspect, so Libra has, Venus is associated with Libra and Taurus. So in Venus Libra aspect, Venus is the planet of grace. It has to be the planet of grace if it's associated with Libra, because the fall equinox is a covenant of grace, leisure. Okay, so it is a planet of grace, art, style, and refinement. Ptolemy gives us an exhaustive list of Venus planet's attributes. So here we are. So these are the attributes of Venus according to Ptolemy. If Venus alone takes the domination of the soul, S-O-U-L, so whenever we see soul, S-O-U-L, we must remember that we do not have a soul that survives death in the sense that you've been taught in religion, that will go burn in hell for eternity or go to heaven. No. Remove the U and you get S-O-L, which is Latin for sun, the disk in the sky. So this is, by analogy, our battery or energy pack, okay? That gives us heat, the ability to metabolize food, to regenerate ourselves, to recycle nutrients, and so on and so forth, okay? If Venus alone takes the domination of the soul in an honorable position, she makes her subjects pleasant. Venus makes you pleasant, good, luxurious, eloquent, neat, cheerful, fond of dancing, eager of beauty, haters of evil, lovers of the arts, fond of spectacles, decorous, healthy, dreamers of pleasant dreams, affectionate, beneficent, compassionate, fastidious, easily conciliated, successful, and in general, charming. Ptolemy, page 357. So these are all attributes that we would associate with Deuteronomy chapter 28, the blessings. So Venus would be associated with the blessings. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14. Okay, this is the mindset and the attributes we need to see ourselves as. We need to change our mindset, change our self-image, right? Instead of glorifying gangster and all of that foolishness, we need to glorify what? Being pleasant, being good, eloquence, being neat and cheerful, right? Okay, hating evil. All right, let's continue. Although Ptolemy goes on to mention a few possible faults, such as erotic and timid, end quote, these are not the worst kind, not the worst kinds of faults to have. From the point of view of normal human society, then, Venus represents all those things we would consider desirable and praiseworthy. Okay, so here again, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14. All right, Deuteronomy 28, the blessings, 1 through 14. Right there, we see Venus. The attributes of Venus match the mindset, the behavior, the lifestyle of us when we are in the covenant of grace, which is the blessings, right? Which is the blessings. Covenant of work would be the curses, the punishments. In other words, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68. Let's continue. All right. From the point of view of the spiritual life, however, these things are not enough, as we shall see. Now, y'all know when you see spiritual life, you better make sure you got on your steel helmet and bulletproof vest when they start talking about spirituality, because they got a scam for you. All right? So that's going to wrap it up for today. Anyone who wants to contribute to my work, the production of the Book of the Law, writing it again into Ancient Ibaryath, we do not have it. We do not have it. If it exists, it's been written by the hybrids, by our oppressors. We need to have our own literature. So if you want to support that project for me to rewrite the Book of the Law in Ancient Ibaryath and then into modern English to remove everything that was injected in, all of the lies, all of the deceit, all of the mythology, and to show the natural phenomena, natural law, and natural law concepts or principles, support the project. My Cash App and PayPal are in the description area of the video. I'll tell you, but check the links. Check it in the description area of the video to make sure I got it right. $sign DrYasapa. This is a Cash App. $sign DrYasapa. $sign DrYasapa. And then PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. Now you can also support by buying my literature. I have links to 7 or 8 books that I've written on the Ancient Ibaryath language. So everything that I'm able to do, that scholars that you see me doing, it all has to do with mastery of Ancient Ibaryath, of linguistics. Okay? So if you go into the book, The Devil's Pulpit, the link to the free PDF is in the description area of the video. You're going to see that all of this stuff is brought into visibility by knowing root words. So in the book they call it Hebrew root words. Okay, so you must have a knowledge of this. Okay, and if you have a knowledge of it and you're comfortable with it, it becomes very easy for you. It's very easy for me. All right, so you can buy my books, buy them on ZionLawSchool.org. Don't buy them on Amazon or any of the other online bookstores. Okay, buy them on ZionLawSchool.org because they take too much money. It's almost not even worth selling your books on Amazon. All of them, because they take so much money. Or they do no work, but they take so much money. I think it's somewhere around 40%. Okay, then you have to pay everything else. All right, storage fee, all these fees. Right, by the time it's said and over, you're not making any money. All right. Um, Also, everybody's invited to come to the 506 Curses course every Saturday at 10 a.m. I teach that course. The link is in the description area of the video. Make sure you read the course description before you come in, all right? Also, everyone's invited to subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. This is a streaming online course, 113 video lessons, 113 videos. All right, it's going to give you the basics. It's an intensive course. Okay, you'll learn a tremendous amount if you go through those courses. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. And when you it's only $10 per month. When you subscribe, keep it. Go through it. It's only $10 per month. Go through it. Master everything. There are what y'all call Hebrew word studies or Ibaryath word studies, grammar. I mean, it's all there. All things pictographs. Everything about the pictographs are there. All right? And I present it with energy and excitement. Okay? So enjoy it. I put all these things together for you to be able to have. Islam to the Moors and Shalawama.